All right. Hello, everyone. Everyone, if you are watching this stream on repeat, thank you for looking it up and watching it. Sorry you couldn't be with us in the live, but there'll be many more. Welcome. My name is Pro Manhattan. I am what am I? I'm a Renaissance woman. Sewing, music, crafting. All right. People coming in. Hello, AJC Magic TV. Hello, Lady Jamers. Hello, Aya, my beautiful firstborn daughter and mod. She goes by Liesl Soma. I hope I got that right. Glad you are all here today. We're going to give it a few more minutes and let other people come in, and I'll talk a little bit about my show, what it's going to be like. You can tell from the thumbnail, we are talking about the 60s. I came up with this idea. It was a suggestion in a chat. I said, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to be tagged, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And someone suggested, let me do the music from the decades I've been alive. And I've been alive since the 60s. So I started out with that, and then I kind of morphed that idea. And it's not just going to be the music of the decades of my life, but I'm going to go year by year, I think. We'll put some decades together. This one, we're just starting off with 1960, and it's just music, but we will also be adding in movies and talking about movies of the time too, because the two are kind of together in a lot of ways. A lot of movies have theme songs that made it to the top 10 of that year or that decade. And then we're going to mix in probably some movie trivia, where I will tell you what the movie is going to be for the next video, and I'll have some trivia questions about that movie. Kind of a work-at-home movie night thing, similar to what Pepper Tree Village did. And looking at my clock, I'm seeing that Pepper Tree Village probably is on right now doing their daily dose of Disney. This is the time they usually do it. And I know a lot of people are busy renovating their houses, using this free time for the positive and the good. We are doing great, broadcasting from our secret, undisclosed, isolated existence here in the northwest corner of the United States. How's everybody doing in the chat? How is your day going? Say something. Need somebody to talk to. But anyway, I've added some merch with the logo from this stream in my Teespring store. It is down below. The link to my webpage is down below, and that's where you can find all my social media and Bunker in the Sky. Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about that, Lee. I'll just call you Lee. We talked about that, and we were wondering if the zombies could actually climb up the balconies to the 6th floor to get to you. But we're going to keep this lighthearted. I really don't want to spend any time talking about current events and what's going on. I need to get away from that, and I know there are others who do too. So to start out, I won't be playing any music. Yes. Resort TV 1, Dis Our Dream, The Myers and the Mouse, and then Zippity Doodad. Yeah. Get to that in a second. I won't be playing music or movie clips just to start with, because right now the little bots that go through and make sure that you're not using somebody else's stuff are running amok because YouTube has limited staff. So for starters, we're just going to talk about stuff. Eventually, once things calm down and I can review fair use and things like that, I will be including movie clips and song clips. I may even do a couple covers of some songs and perform some stuff. Now, with Resort TV 1 and Dis Our Dream and Myers and the Mouse and then Zippity Doo Dah. Well, how did I end up on YouTube? I've had the channel for a couple years. But a couple years ago, I was going through a really rough time and was really sad, depressed, and lonely. And going to Disney World when I was young always made me happy. So I went on YouTube and I looked up Disney live streamers. And the first one I found was Resort TV 1. And I can't tell you how many hours I spent on their live streams, just watching them walk around the parks. And it brought me such joy and such peace. And through Resort TV 1, that's where I met AGC Magic. I met Lady Jamers through them. I met everybody I know through Resort TV 1. And it introduced me to the Dis and That guys when they did the Beverly Challenge, and to Pete McDevitt, and to all the other streamers, Prince Dev, Corey Makes World, all the other live streamers. And then I was watching Dis and That is the Shep family, Steve's World, Zippity Doo Dah, and Dave and Brandy. And I was watching their stream, and they had Kelly from Myers and the Mouse in there one night. And so I subscribed to Myers and the Mouse, and then I met Mama Mouse. And through Mama Mouse, I met Paper, Scissors, and Vacation, Lena, and Kenzie, and Tracy, Kenzie's dad, and the rest is history. And I decided, why am I sitting here being scared of going live? So I decided I'd just jump off a bridge and do it. So here I am live with my show. I'm hoping to keep it on at this time, this day, once a week for an hour, probably a little bit less than an hour, because today we have to go buy a new power cord for my son's iPad. May it rest in peace. It died, so we've got to run to the store and pick up a new power cord, but that's not a big deal. Hi, AGC Magic TV. Yeah, community hopping. And that's the good thing about the time and what's going on is we have all jumped in as a community. I know that Lena and Mama Mouse both have, and Kenzie too, have been doing daily live streams where, and they've included people in and crafting and being happy. Oh, Tracy! And there is Tracy Glenn, dad to one of the most awesome people in the world, Kenzie Days. She is beautiful. She is talented. She is intelligent. She's well-spoken. She's just a beautiful person. And I think her wonderfulness reflects the parenting she had from Tracy and her mom, Billy. And she's asleep. Good. She's getting some rest. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I know I slept. Finally, last night and this morning I slept. My kids have introduced me to this game on my phone, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp or something like that. And I've gotten sucked into it. So anyway, as I said a minute ago, I'll go ahead and reiterate this. I've got some merch link down in the chat. I've added some merch with the graphic from this stream, from this series. And yeah, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It is a good time killer. Anyway, all right. So the way this is going to go, today we're talking about 1960. And you don't have to raise your hand if you were alive then. I wasn't alive in 1960, but I was alive in the 60s. So I'm starting with 1960, and I'm using Billboard's year-end Hot 100 singles of 1960. We're just going to talk about the first 10. And number 10 in 1960 was The Twist by Chubby Checker. It's funny how I came to know who Chubby Checker was. I remember a lot, but I have a weird memory. But Chubby Checker, my first experience about learning about Chubby Checker was in a little thing called Schoolhouse Rock, which we're going to talk about in the 70s. And I know you guys remember Schoolhouse Rock, but in one of the song nouns, because they're nouns, they mentioned Chubby Checker. And I always thought that was so funny until I got older and realized, you know, he was a star. And the twist became a sensation across the nation. It's an American pop song written and originally released in early 1959. It was recorded in 1958 as a B-side. Chubby Checker actually covered the song, and it gave birth to the twist dance craze. And if you remember the show Happy Days, Chubby Checker appeared on Happy Days and did the Conjunction Junction. Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock. We're going to spend a whole episode on Schoolhouse Rock a little later in the year. We've got so much to cover. In 1988, the twist again became popular to a new recording by the Fat Boys featuring Chubby Checker. Interjection shows excitement. Yes, we're going to do a whole show on Schoolhouse Rock, and I think it's going to be pretty soon now. Since I got so many fans, and I love Schoolhouse Rock. It's how I got through elementary school and most of junior high, back when they had junior highs. Now they're all middle schools. The twist reached number 2 in the UK and number 1 in Germany in 2014. So, no, you didn't get off topic. That's what we do. We sit around and talk. You remember how it was when you were young and you're sitting around the table and there's 6 different conversations going? Besides, I'm the queen of off topic. This and that, hold my beer. I can go off topic, trust me. Billboard Magazine in 2014 declared it the biggest hit of the 1960s. So that was The Twist by Chubby Checker. Number 9. Oh, and I know a lot about this singer in particular. Of course you are, Tracy. You're only 29. Yeah, I know that. I'm going to move over here so when the roof falls down, it doesn't hit me when the lightning strikes. Stuck on You was Elvis Presley's first single after his 2-year stint in the U.S. Army, reaching number 1 in 1960 in the U.S. Some fun facts about Elvis Presley. I have been to his birthplace. He was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I was born just a drive south of there. I spent a lot of time in Tupelo. I've been through there many times. And so I grew up with Elvis in the spotlight because he was a local hero, you know. It was a vinyl single. The B-side was Fame and Fortune, which I'll have to look up because that doesn't ring a bell with me. And he had already done A Big Hunk of Love, and later on, he did, in 1960, he did It's Now or Never. And I love that one for the rhythm. On that, he had the Blue Moon Boys, and that was Scotty Moore on lead guitar and DJ Fontana on drums. Hank Garland on bass guitar, Bob Moore on the double bass, which is the upright, the exceptionally large violin thing that they play. Billy! Hi, Billy. Good to see you. Glad you could be here. You have an amazing daughter, Billy. I just want to tell you that. Your daughter is amazing and fantastic and intelligent and beautiful and talented. And I just wanted to tell you that. I love your daughter. Buddy Harman and the Jordanaires were Elvis's backup singers on that. Stuck on You. I'm going to stick like glue because I'm stuck on you. And it's all right. Yeah, you got to forgive Lisa and I. We were up late playing Animal Crossing. They've got me hooked on that. And if you listen really close to the little things when they're talking, you can almost understand what they're saying. It's really cool. Then number 8, James Taylor. And who doesn't love James Taylor? Oh my gosh, very, very talented fella. But he covered this. But Jimmy Jones and Otis Blackwell were the original writers of this song. It's called Handyman. And it was originally quoted by the Sparks of Rhythm, a group Jones had been a member of when he wrote it, although he was not with them when they recorded it. The version was in a minor key and had a completely different melody. When Jimmy Jones recorded it, the song changed to a major key with a completely different melody. And when you talk about minor keys and major keys sound sad. Major keys sound happy and upbeat. So it changed the whole feeling of the song. It reached number 3 on the R&B charts and number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1960. But on my list, it is number 8 by Jimmy Jones. Coming up at number 7. I retracted my comment as she ratted me out of my... Aww. Well, I won't tell anybody, Tracy. We'll just keep it right between us. Shh, you know? I'm 54, to be honest. I'm 54 years old. I'll put that out there. So I do remember the 60s. Coming up at number 7, we have another song by Elvis the Pelvis, Elvis Presley. And I don't know how many of you had this, but I know in the 70s and the 80s, we had a lot of Elvis impersonators. And wasn't there a movie, Viva Las Vegas? Wasn't that a movie where they were all Elvis impersonators showing up somewhere? Anyway, Now or Never. The song is a best-selling single by Presley, 20 million copies, and one of the best-selling singles of all time. It was recorded in Nashville at RCA Studio B. It's written in E major and has tempo of 80 beats per minute. And that's another thing. We'll get into what all those things mean a little later in the series, too. I'll even start teaching y'all a little bit about music theory. Fun stuff. Because I'm all about the music. I love music. And speaking of music, real quick, let me mention, take a break here for our only sponsor, or our host. I want to thank Dean from The Live Place. Our show is listed on The Live Place now. And I'm happy to be the first music show to be hosted on The Live Place, www.theliveplace.com. Check it out for family-friendly streams, everything from entertainment, travel, lifestyles, cooking, all sorts of things. Oh no, you'll like it, Tracy. You'll like it. Trust me. I hear you can sing too. And on singing, by the way, let me put this out here, Mama's wisdom. Everybody can sing. Don't worry that somebody told you couldn't sing. Everybody can sing. Oh, Lady Jamers, we will get to Bobby Sherman. We will get to him. He's in a couple years. I had a Bobby Sherman lunchbox in elementary school, so we'll talk about Bobby Sherman. Elvis Presley recorded. It was released. Now or Never was released in July the 5th, 1960. It was recorded April the 3rd. And the B-side of that was A Mess of Blues. B-side. Do y'all remember 45 records, or am I the only one? I had a little record player and little 45 records. Number 6. Coming in at number 6, we have I'm Sorry by Brenda Lee. She recorded it when she was 15 years old. It peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100s in July 1960. Originally, she recorded it early in the year, but Decca Records held on to it because they didn't think a 15-year-old girl was mature enough to sing about the subject matter in the song, Unrequited Love. She went on to release a whole lot more music, Brenda Lee, and gosh, as I go through these, I remember those old infomercials that used to, and commercials for albums that used to come on the TV, and they play little clips. And I can remember this one, I'm sorry, so sorry. Yeah, Brenda Lee, 15 years old when she recorded that. And then we are on number 5, already at number 5. And this one has been covered many, many times. It's a teenage tragedy song written by Jean Dinning and her husband, Red Surrey, and performed by both Jean's brother, Mark Dinning, and Alex Murray in 1959. It was actually released in 1959, but it didn't get popular until the next year because a lot of U.S. radio stations thought it was too sad to play. The song did get popular, though, and it jumped from number 100 to number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It reached number 1 in February of 1960 and number 37 in the UK singles chart, even though the BBC banned it from being played because it was too sad. I remember the song mostly from a movie, Back to the Future, in the 80s. And when we get to the 80s, we will talk more about that. Moving on. And I'm sorry this is going so fast, but this is the first show, and it'll get better, I promise. The next one is kind of a, I don't know what genre to really put it in. It's called Running Bear, and it was written by Giles Perry Richardson, and it's a Romeo. Which song? What was the song? The last one? It was called Teen Angel. Teen Angel, Teen Angel. I think. Yeah, American Rock and Roll Revival Act Sha Na Na performed Teen Angel at the 1969 Woodstock Festival. Sha Na Na, they used to have a TV show too. Anybody remember that? With Bowser and all of them. Anyway, moving on. Running Bear. And like I said, Running Bear was a Romeo and Juliet story. There was Running Bear and Little White Cloud. They were from different tribes. And their families had been at war for ages. And finally, they jumped in the river and had their first kiss. And then the waves took them away. But they were in love forever. So that was Running Bear and Little White Cloud. And producer Bill Hall, who provided the Indian chanting, I don't know if you remember the unga, 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 And it was number 1 for 3 weeks in January 1960 on the Billboard Hot 100. Oh yeah, Sha Na Na. We'll get to Sha Na Na because there was a 50s revival in the 70s and 80s. And where music kind of expanded and then went back. And we'll talk about music history too. Next, we come to number 3, I'm thinking. And it is by the Everly Brothers. And oh my gosh, I love the Everly Brothers. I love everything they did. My father and his brother had similar sounding voices. And I've said before, my parents and my uncle thought they were the Peter, Paul, and Mary of South Mississippi. So they formed a little combo, and I know that a lot of Everly songs were in their repertoire. This one is Kathy's Clown. The lyrics describe a man who has been wronged and publicly humiliated by his lover. Here he comes, that's Kathy's Clown. And the Everly brothers are known for their close harmony style. And I adore the sounds of them. The musicians included Everly's on guitars, Floyd Kramer on piano, Floyd Chance on bass, and Buddy Harmon on the drums. The drums were recorded with a tape loop, making it sound as if there were two drummers. Kathy's Clown was recorded live in a single take, with Don and Phil sharing one microphone. On the B-side was Always It's You, and it was released in April of 1960. And it was released on vinyl, 7-inch, and 45 RPM. All right, number 2 of 1960. And I only know this song from, like I said, those TV commercials late at night when they advertised albums, and they'd have little clips of the song. And I remember hearing, "He'll have to go." And the gentleman who recorded it right before he recorded Chances Are. So it was Chances Are, He'll Have to Go. And I've never been able to get that out of my head. Anyway, He'll Have to Go is an American country and pop hit recorded on October 15th, 1959 by Jim Reeves. It was released in the fall of 1959, and it went on to become a hit in both the country and the pop charts in 1960. The song's about a man who's talking by telephone to the woman he loves when he realizes that another man is with her. Scandal. The song was written by the husband and wife team of Joe and Audrey Allison and was inspired by a phone conversation between them in which they had trouble making themselves understood. Because of background noise and on Audrey Allison's naturally soft voice, her husband had asked her to put her mouth very close to the receiver. That led her to pen the song's first line. On the B-side was In a Mansion Stands My Love. It was released November of 1959 on a 7-inch album. And it was recorded again in RCA Studio B, Nashville, Tennessee. Is listed here as Country Nashville Sound, but again, to note, it did make it on the pop charts too. And this is where we see a lot of country crossing over into the pop. Whereas in the 50s, it was all mostly, there was country and then there was the rock, but they were very separated. And now the number 1 song was theme from the movie A Summer Place. Actually, it wasn't the title theme. It was a secondary theme for the love story between the two main characters. Theme from A Summer Place is a song with lyrics by Mac Discant and music by Max Steiner. It was written for the 1959 film A Summer Place, which starred Sandra Dee and Troy Donahue. Yes, Troy Donahue really was a real actor. He's been parodied in The Simpsons quite a bit, but he was an actor back in the 50s and 60s. It was recorded for the film as an instrumental, originally known as the Molly and Johnny theme. This piece is not the main title theme of the film, but a secondary love theme for the characters played by Dee and Donahue. Percy Faith was a composer and an arranger and kind of a musician like me. He did a lot of what was described as easy listening and program music. And you may not recall the song. Oh, Handsome Actor. Yes. But you may not recall the song, but you've heard it on everything from hold music to your public broadcasting station telling you what's coming up next. Da, 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 da. And in the background, it's do, 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 like that. So you know the song, even elevator music, that's another name for it. You know the song, even though the title may not be calling it up for you. But that was number one. And I went through those so fast. Oh, they did have an Animal House. I'll have to look that up. And is Animal House one of your favorite movies? Speaking of movies, I'll go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about next week. One of my favorite songs from the 1960s is Chim Chimney from the movie Mary Poppins, the original 1960s Mary Poppins. My father was a DJ on the local radio station. Oh yeah. I remember that, Lady Jamers. I do. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. But anyway, Mary Poppins, and every night at my bedtime, my dad would play Chim Chimney on the radio. And when I was going to sleep, so I heard that song every night, and he would send it out to me. And so I developed a strong tie to the movie. Tim Matheson. Oh, yeah. I'm sure we'll get to him, too. So I was thinking that this week I'm going to watch Mary Poppins, the original, and I'm going to come up with some trivia questions about it. And next week, we will talk about the music from the movie Mary Poppins, and we'll do some trivia and just do all things Mary Poppins. I think that'll be really fun next week. Does that sound good? Let me know. Also, let me add, I believe it is on Disney Plus. I know that Saving Mr. Banks is on Disney Plus, and that movie, oh my gosh, that's an ugly cry movie for me. I loved that movie. My second favorite song from that movie is the Feeding the Birds song that the little old lady sings when she's feeding the birds. And I think that's just the sweetest, most gentle song. And I think the world needs that song right now. It takes you back to a simpler place and a simpler time. Yeah, Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson. Of course, Tom Hanks is just beautiful. Was it the Tuppence Bag? It's very beautiful song. And oh yes, the Rights for Women song. And I mean, the thing I love the most about the movie is how timeless it is, even though it is set in a period. It's a period piece, and everything else. The themes are timeless. And did you? Oh, do you have a picture? I would love to see a picture of that. I got to follow you on your social media, though. Yeah, West Wing. That's another series. It's pretty timeless, really. And I like things with timeless themes because original Mary Poppins. Yeah. And I'm excited because we have changed our trip. I know I've mentioned it in a couple of other people's streams. We're changing our trip. Instead of Disneyland next, in a couple of weeks, like we were going to go, we just pulled back and punted. And now we've changed our plans. We're hoping to go to Walt Disney World later this year. And if we do, I'm hoping that we can meet up with at least a couple of you that I know. And to September, you want me to move it to September, Lady Jamers? Well, the thing is, my schedule's open, but we're taking the whole family. So we're going to have to go by Aya Liesel's schedule and her partner's schedule. All right. Write that down, Aya. Lady Jamers will be there September 8th through 15th. I think we'll be in school then, but at this point, I'll pull my son out of school for a week if it's Walt Disney World. We are going to get there this year. So, also coming up, I am 4 subscribers short of 300 subscribers. So sometime in the next couple weeks, I will be doing my 300 subscriber giveaway, and I'm going to give away an item of merch off my Teespring store. I have sweatshirts, I have t-shirts, I have cups, I have all sorts of stuff. And that'll be, oh, Boo to You tickets. Yes, we want to go to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party too. I watched it so many times on the streams, and I just think it'll be great. The main thing we've got to do at Disney World or Disneyland, whichever one we go to, when Liesel was about 2.5, we took her to Disney World, and she made me ride It's a Small World over 30 times. We'd get off the ride and she'd go again. So we'd walk all the way around and get back in line, and we rode around. And so we're going to recreate that ride. Also, we were in Japan, and she fell in love with this panda bear she was 2.5, and this thing was bigger than her. And we had her in one of those little umbrella strollers, and she would not leave the store without this panda. So here she is, the panda with her arms wrapped around it, sitting in her little lap in that umbrella stroller thing. And I pushed her all over Epcot Center, and she just had, the panda. And we couldn't see her. I'm not sure how much of Epcot she saw after that, but she had her Peanut the panda. And so I talked about Mary Poppins, and I'll put announcements up about that for watch Mary Poppins this week on Disney Plus, and be ready for some trivia questions next week. Be ready for a giveaway coming up in a couple weeks for 300 subscribers. Please go check out my webpage. All my social media links are there up at the top. And if you look up on the tabs, if you want to hear my music, the discography tag has Spotify links and iTunes links to Pearl Manhattan, Armadillos After Dark, and the Maggie Road Revival. Those are 3 different styles of music. Pearl Manhattan is mostly the vocal jazz, my original vocal jazz. Armadillos After Dark is lo-fi, chill wave, electronic music. Oh, we're big Toy Story fans too. And then Maggie Road Revival is more my singer-songwriter stuff. But you can check that out. There's a page with a link to my merch. My music's also available on Amazon downloads. And I do have some hard copies available. I use a print-on-demand service where you go to their webpage and you order it, and they will print it and send the CD to you directly. So that's what I got there. Now, Toy Story, oh yes. I did not see Toy Story till I was well into my 30s, I want to say. Right around the beginning of it, when I turned 30 or so, is the first time I saw it and fell in love with it. I love Toy Story. I love Monsters, Inc. Both of them, because the computer animation is just phenomenal. It was the first time we saw that kind of thing. Another thing we're going to get into is Star Wars, the movies and the music. I adore John Williams, and other movies that John Williams did the music for. Yeah, Mulan and the Little Mermaid. We had the Little Mermaid soundtrack on a cassette in the car, and we listened to it over and over again. And honestly, I think the seagull was one of your favorite characters, Aya. And the Lion King, I have to share this because it was a very special moment. Before the Lion King opened, in the theater in the Magic Kingdom, when you first walk in, and City Hall is on this side of you, and there's a theater over here. And it was a museum with all of Walt's awards, his Oscars, and all those other things. And you walked all the way through it, and then you went into a movie theater, and they showed us the opening, just the opening from The Lion King. And with the Dolby sound, and the great big screen, and everything else, they showed us the Circle of Life song at the beginning. And there wasn't a dry eye in the place. And we never saw it in the theater. We didn't see it until it actually came out on video cassette, VHS. We didn't do the beta thing. We had VHS. But watching that opening was just phenomenal because, again, the animation, that was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. And it was just beautiful. I would love to see the musical version of that, the stage version. Looking forward to Kenzie's production that she's doing on about Shrek the Musical. I have seen Shrek many, many times. My theater kid introduced me to that. Anyway, I'm rambling on, I think. This has been the top 10 of 1960. I thank you guys for joining me. If you're watching on the repeat, please go down and leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, there's a little red button right below the video here where you can push that button and then push the bell and select all from that menu with the bell. That makes sure that you get all the notifications of when I'm going live. My plans are to put out a video on Wednesdays. It's probably going to be a music video. And then on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here live. Thank you for coming, AJC Magic, Lady Jamers, Tracy, and Billy. And who else is in here? I wonder if I've had anyone else. Participants. Yep, I've got Lady Jamers and AJC Magic. Thank you for being here on my first show. It's only going to get better. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. I think Shep goes live tonight. Hit me up on social media. Say hi. I'll follow you. And if I haven't subscribed to your channel, check and see. Let me know. And I will be glad to do that too. Y'all have a great day. Bye.